Welcome to Lesson 3 in the 6-part lesson series on the ISTE Standards for Students. Today's lesson will center around ISTE Standard for Students number 3, Research and Information Fluency. But first, let's review what we've been doing in the last two lessons. You've been accessing your content for this course through Google Classroom. All of your lessons have been centered around the ISTE Standards for Students. The ISTE Standards were created by the International Society for Technology and Education. There are a total of 6 standards for students. Number 1 is Creativity and Innovation. Number 3, Research and Information Fluency. Number 2, Communication and Collaboration. Number 4, Critical Thinking, Problem Solving, and Decision Making. Number 5, Digital Citizenship. And number 6, Technology Operations and Concepts. Now each one of these standards is quite complex, and you could spend the rest of your educational career really exploring these and digging into them deeply. Through these short lessons, we won't be able to go in depth, but at least you'll be exposed to the standards themselves and begin to understand what each of them means. In the first lesson, we explored Standard 2, Communication and Collaboration. During that lesson, you were able to type on a shared Google document in Gaphy, or Google Apps for Education. That was quite an interesting day because first we had to get you logged onto your Google account. Then we went into your Google Drive. We explored Google Classroom. And finally, you had an opportunity to get onto a shared Google document in which you and your classmates were all typing at once. You were quite amused to see as each person's name appeared. Here's a couple clips of some things that were posted that day. It was a lot of fun. In the next lesson, we looked at standard number 5, Digital Citizenship. During that lesson, you once again went to Google Classroom, where you accessed a Powtoon that you watched. Then you played on a PBS Webinauts game. Next, you added content to a shared Google slide or presentation. In that presentation, you typed a rule that you considered to be a wise choice in terms of digital safety. And finally, you were able to view a short video from Kevin Honeycutt discussing the idea of having a positive digital legacy. Here's some excerpts from that shared Google slide presentation that you all were able to contribute to. Today we're going to look at Standard 3, Research and Information Fluency. Like the other ISTE standards, Standard 3 is quite complex. So today we're just going to focus on one aspect of it. We're going to talk about what it means to be a credible source. When you're deciding whether or not something is a credible source, you're answering the question, does the creator have the authority to make his or her claim accurately? Does this person have the right, again, the authority to say what they're saying? So what does it mean to have authority? Credible authority means and can come from different things. For example, a person of credibility may be connected to a credible organization. Is there an education institute like a school? Is there a government agency that they're connected to? Are they connected to a credible organization like a historical society or a medical organization? Next, does this person of authority have professional credentials? A doctor and a lawyer, for example, would have professional credentials. Or does this person have academic credentials? Do they have a degree from a school that gives them credibility or authority in making these claims? Perhaps they've been published in a credible source, in a magazine or a journal. Are they considered an expert by other credible people? Do other people cite them, use them as experts in their field? And finally, does this person cite other credible sources when they make their statements? Do they cite articles from journals? Do they cite other credible organizations? Do they back up their argument? So now that you've had a chance to consider the idea of credibility, you're going to get a chance to try out this new skill. So go back to your Google Classroom. You're going to select the correct shared document by your last name. Then you're going to view the shared Google slide or presentation. And finally, you're going to make a comment on each of the 3 slides. Each slide contains a screenshot of a source, and you're trying to decide, is this source probably credible? And when you're considering whether it's credible, you're going to be looking at potentially the authority of the person or organization that's publishing this information. Does that person or does that organization have the authority to be making these claims? You won't be typing directly on the slide. Instead, you'll be making a comment. At the conclusion of this lesson, we're going to play a game in Kahoot. Kahoot is an online competitive game that we will play together, during which you can demonstrate your ability to quickly analyze the credibility of an online source. Good luck with this lesson and have fun.